Hello, ISPA family, and welcome to another installment of Pulse Partners Interview Series, where we catch up with representatives from the companies ISPA has partnered with in 2021 as we bring Pulse back to print and continue to provide that industry-leading publication to our members. I'm ISPA Board Chairman Patrick Huey, and I am thrilled to be joined today by ReadyCare founder and president Gary Robie and president of PureFiji USA at ReadyCare Industries, Paul Wright. ReadyCare has been with ISPA since the beginning, and we continue to be so grateful for the support they've shown over the last 30 years. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us to share how ReadyCare has been working alongside their SPA partners during the pandemic and what products and initiatives you're most excited about in the coming year. So welcome Gary and Paul. We're so glad you're here.
Well, it's good to see you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank you for making time. So for anybody who may not know or be familiar with ReadyCare, can you please give us an overview of your company and your extensive family of brands that you have, Gary?
Well, we actually started in my house in 1989, and we started just selling disposable razors, and we did that through the vending machines at health clubs. Oh. And that was during the AIDS crisis, and so nobody wanted to share razors, so it was a very, very small niche that I was growing up and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, so that's how we got started. And we always believed in great customer service. We always believed in shipping products the same day you got the order. And so that kind of brought us into health clubs. And then we started making wall-mounted dispensers because that was the need health clubs needed. And we were the first company not to use labels because labels come off in showers, but to silk screen the dispensers. And so that got us very well into athletic clubs. They wanted us to supply them more products. So then we developed a line of shampoos, body wash, conditioners, all the other things that you would use at vanity areas. And then we had a couple spa directors that went to some of our athletic clubs and said, why does an athletic club look better than a 5-star spa? And we started getting calls from spas, and that kind of started the rock and roll experience for us in outfitting spas with all their custom dispensers and vanity dispensers, adding in more products, higher grade products. And then the obvious thing from there was we started doing private label retail bottles. And I got one here. So this is something that one of our spas would sell, and this bottle would match what their dispenser bottle would look like on the shower wall. And they started selling retail products really, really well. And then the next obvious progression was that the hotels said, well, if we put that product in our hotel rooms, we could probably sell more retail product. And that's kind of how we got into the hotel room. So that was kind of the progression of us getting going, and just keeps going like crazy for us. And we were lucky enough to secure the PureFiji distributorship back in 2008. And that brought us more into that spa, and I'll let Paul take it on the PureFiji side from there.
Well, thanks, Gary. And Patrick, I have to tell you, I'm going to go back to 1996 when I was a spa director at the Cliff Spa at Snowbird, and I needed dispensers. And we didn't have Google back then. So I'm like, who does these things? So I called a few colleagues, and they said, ReadyCare. And I go, ReadyCare, what is that? Are they ready? Do they care? I didn't know what that was. So they gave me a 800 number. I called. I got a representative right away. And I had a lot of showers at the Cliff Spa there at Snowbird in Utah. And I ended up getting free custom dispensers to purchase their bulk liquids. And they had that done in 2 weeks. And prior to joining ReadyCare, I had always been a loyal fan of ReadyCare because of their service, because of their promptness. And that's what we are today. We take care of great customers. So I'm kind of honored to be here. But to PureFiji, you know, it was one of those marriages just made to be. It was at ISPA where we were introduced to Andre Austin, who's the owner of PureFiji. And I'd heard of the brand before, knew it was good, but didn't know much about it. And when we connected and we agreed to bring it on at ReadyCare, it was the best thing we ever did because we took it to new heights with our sales force, but everyone stood behind the brand. And mainly because of the results that it provides. Everybody loves PureFiji because of the smell. The second reason is they love how it feels, right? But you know, in our aspect of training, it was why does it feel so good? And it was all about the ingredients and its natural origin and made in Fiji with an amazing story behind it. So, you know, I'm honored to be a part of PureFiji and running its brand and just having an incredible team behind me to take it to the new level under these new challenging circumstances. We call them challenging because we know we're going to get through it with optimism, and we're real excited about 2021. So yeah, I'm very excited.
How do you work that balance when you have two entities like PureFiji and ReadyCare coming together under an umbrella, and you say, okay, we're going to work together now? What are, for those who are watching, what may be the things to look out for? If you could do it differently, what would you have done differently, done better to make that relationship easier? It seems to be it's been, you know, 12, 13 years of this relationship, but how do you manage that relationship? How do you build that relationship? First Paul, then Gary.
So with PureFiji, you know, ReadyCare is an umbrella and it has major brands under it. We do Zindel sandals, we do our body clips, we have a lot of different brands. PureFiji is unique in itself and we run it like a separate company. The invoices are separate from ReadyCare. We now have a 17,000 square foot facility that's strictly just PureFiji, separate from ReadyCare now. So we call it under the umbrella. We don't have any challenges because, you know, I work directly with Gary and I will be directly working with PureFiji itself. Some of the challenges might be the fact that we still are under the owners of PureFiji, you know, and they're in Fiji and they are, with respect, very brand sensitive. So we have to adhere to all of each brand, each language, each verbiage that goes into our package, into our marketing materials, into our social media platforms. Everything has to be approved and we adhere to that well. So we have a beautiful marriage and a relationship with PureFiji when it comes to, you know, delivering the brand. Operationally, logistically, it works great because we have an amazing team behind the scenes that really helps to get the product out as soon as an order comes in. We hardly have any delays. We hardly have any back orders. And this is 20-foot containers coming across Southeast Asia, all the way to LA and then to Denver, Colorado, and then to places like into Florida. The system is fluid and it works. So we have a lot of credit to the back of the house team.
That's great. Gary, what's your perspective on that?
Well, when we first brought on PureFiji, probably the biggest advantage of having it underneath ReadyCare is we already had all of ReadyCare's expenses already paid for, the sales staff are already in place, you know, our accounting, lawyers, and all that. So it wasn't a huge expense to bring in PureFiji. And so we could take all of those resources and use it towards selling. And we're a big company on sampling. So anybody that asks us anything for ReadyCare, you know, somebody wanted to see a sample of a bottle that we printed, we just send them a sample of a bottle that we printed. But on the PureFiji side, we could sample people like crazy. And we've always known that if you put the product on somebody's skin, they love it. And they love the way it works on the skin, how it makes the skin feel. So from the financial standpoint, it was very simple to get started with PureFiji. We already had a great reputation of customer service. People felt very comfortable about buying PureFiji from us, knowing that we would never back order the product. And as we've grown with PureFiji, you know, we want to do what Paul was talking about and kind of separate it off a little bit and add more just PureFiji specific people, have its own warehouse, and try to have its own entity so it stands out a little bit more. And it does deserve a lot of love and attention. And our PureFiji customers deserve a lot of love and attention. And there's a lot more questions when it comes to training and how the products work and all that. So we're gradually moving that off to its own separate, its own separate company.
I mean, that's pretty revolutionary, I think, within the spa industry that you're establishing it that way under your ReadyCare umbrella.
It is. It's a little bit different, but it's nice to have all the advantages and then go ahead and treat it like it is its own brand.
Do you think, and this is for either one of you, Paul or Gary, that this model that you're building with PureFiji under ReadyCare is a model that may gain traction, just given the sort of dynamic nature of business that we're in right now with the pandemic and the reshuffling of the deck that's happening right now?
Go ahead, Paul.
So if I understand the question correctly, I mean, given the challenges we've had, we actually had a decrease in overall sales in 2020, but we had a 92% increase with PureFiji sales on our website. And we owe that, I think, a lot to some marketing we did, some brilliant marketing with spa at home kits and spa at home remedies, and really getting that out to our consumers, because we typically have two different categories. We have a customer, which is our spas, and we have the consumers, which is our web loyal fans, and people were stuck at home. Well, they both blended in because we had our customers going, we're closed, but we're open. I'm like, what does that mean? They had to be open, but the customers couldn't use the spa, but they missed the spa products. So they were like, and a lot of this was in the private sector too, like the gated communities in Florida and California when they were open. But they were like, can we drive through and pick up some spa products in a bag? And, and it was kind of that concept. And then we really launched the spa at home and really hit that heavy with our website. And I think when people were really confined, they were like, they couldn't go to a spa. So I'm going to make my home my spa. And they probably did some decoration. They probably did some remodeling. I mean, people were at home. They spent what money they could to kind of just turn their bathroom into, this is my escapism. This is my sanctuary. I'm going to order some PureFiji product online and get it quickly. And I'm going to get my own pedicure. I'm going to get my own bath ritual. So a 92% increase is pretty significant in a time and an era where people, were losing their businesses and losing the spas. So we're grateful for that. The second part of that we have to be thankful for is the day spas. When the resort spas still didn't open, the owners of these day spas gave it their blood, sweat, and tears to stay open. Probably dipped into their savings accounts and just kept it alive. And PureFiji is a partner to them. We're thankful because we were delivering and they did have customers using. So we are grateful where we're at today because of that.
That's great. Gary, that's great. I love the people setting up spas in their home. That visual kind of makes me smile a little bit. But Gary, how do you address the viability of the business model? Because I think in the way that it's almost consolidation in a way that we're seeing consolidation on the hospitality side. Is that a model that you see moving forward for spa products, which oftentimes people are very separated or they're very within silos of their own companies? And here you have a very successful model with PureFiji and your other brands. Do you see that as a way that could really gain some more traction?
Well, I think it's really good when you have we call PureFiji our hero brand.
Yep.
And so when you have a hero brand like that, I think it's good you take advantage of everything that ReadyCare offers, but also make sure you spin it off so it has all that love and attention that you can give to that brand. And I think that if we bring on other brands that are that special and that provide us the volume of sales that a PureFiji does, that it should be done that way. Sometimes in our earlier days, we brought on so many brands that it's hard to give special attention to one brand. And so, I think it is a good model to sometimes separate it out so you can give more attention, more marketing to the brand that's going to be really good for you as a company as well.
Are there certain things that you look for to bring on a brand? Are there certain characteristics that you find attractive in a brand to bring on? How does that process work for your company?
Usually they come to us, people come to us, and then we evaluate it. We see if we like it. We pass out samples to all our salespeople. Then we start sending samples out to our customers saying, is this a product that you really like? So we kind of go through that process. And then once it's something that we know that customers like, that we also like, you got to love something to sell it. So you can't sell something just because it might make you money. You got to be passionate about it. And that's the one great thing about PureFiji. Paul's been to Fiji. We've toured the place. Paul's been there a couple of times. I've been there 4 or 5 times. You get to meet all the people. Like, I love meeting the Fijian people. They're some of the nicest people in the world. They're so hardworking. They're compassionate, and they're super fun to be around. So it's that combination of everything right now. Kind of something that we're doing different right now is we've gone big into the hospitality world with our dispensers. So, we have to have a different type of a dispenser for hotel rooms. It's got to be theft proof. It's got to be locking. But that's kind of turned into another hero brand for us. And we kind of keep that one separate off to the side as well. And that will become even more and more separate. And we like that product. We're passionate about that product because it's all part of that green initiative. We're taking little teeny bottles out of hotel rooms, and those little teeny bottles will always have a ½ ounce or an ounce of product in it. So, not only are we keeping plastic out of our landfills, we're keeping soaps and shampoos and conditioners out of the landfills. And, we kind of started with our dispensers way before it was even popular. We started in 2011. And in 2017, we were picked by Marriott to do their Courtyard Spring Hill Suites. There was 3 brands of hotels, and we did over 200,000 hotel rooms with inside that division. So that turned out to be, it's hard. You got to build them. A lot of screws go into them, and a lot of testing going into them. I got some funny videos of trying to pull them off a wall. How many weights you can put on it before they pop off a wall. So pretty amusing videos. But those amusing videos, once we sent them over to our customers, they're like, we just want more. So this year we're excited because we were supposed to do this last year, but obviously the pandemic stopped everything. But this year we're going to be doing over 800,000 hotel rooms. So that is a huge, so that's kind of one of our brands that we kind of put off to the side. And we love doing that because it helps everybody out. It's cost savings for a hotel, and it's more green for everybody. And I think that sooner or later, knowing all the big hotel corporations, ISG and Marriott, they're all kind of in a race to kind of get all their hotel rooms going that way. So it's really good to see them participating in it as well.
I mean, when you talk those kinds of numbers, 800,000 hotel rooms, I mean, I think it highlights just how vast and impactful the spa industry is and all of the components that make up the spa industry. I mean, people don't think about the pump on the wall in their hotel room, but it's part of our spa and wellness industry, and it has a huge footprint. I think much larger than people really anticipate. Paul, I'd love to hear from you, Paul, on what's happening in 2021 for PureFiji. I know we're at the beginning of the year here, so it's kind of like game on for new rollouts, new products. What's new on the horizon for you guys at PureFiji?
Well, it's good timing to ask that question because behind the scenes, we have just been working diligently with our team. It's growing. We found that social media, which, you know, at my age of 57 now, I've had to kind of go back and learn Instagram and Snapchat and all of these things because I was just Facebook. And my daughter, who's 26, tells me, Dad, Facebook is old school, you know? So we had a lot of celebrity influencers who got a hold of our product. And some of it was by accident because one celebrity uses it and they post it on their social media platforms. The other celebrity's like, well, I want that too. And so it kind of took off. And so we're hiring a social media digital marketing coordinator, first time ever position, that will really focus in on our social media platforms. And it'll be mainly through the bridge between ReadyCare social media and PureFiji social media. So all of them, from Twitter to Facebook to Instagram, Snapchat, and then eventually TikTok. We're going after the younger market, right? The boomerang. I did one the other day. I'll have to share it with you, but it turned out pretty cool. But this 18 to 24-year-old, you know, they're all into the skin. The skin is in for them just as much as the 65 and older, which is another group segment of ours. So what we're doing is we're analyzing all of the segments of our customers, and we're hiring some agencies to help us through subscribers on our website with creative ads on Instagram, and using that platform to get our brand really out there. We're looking also at all kinds of things for our customers as they start to open up, gift with purchase. We're using sales staff incentives so that the staff is motivated. Obviously, the challenge we have going into 2021 is the in-face and in-person training, which is my passion. You know, you talk about my passion with PureFiji, it's all over the place because doesn't matter what you talk about. And I can play on my role as the most moisturizing man in the world, but it's true. I mean, I love the product and I love the brand, but I love sharing my passion with people in front of me. I don't care if it's 4 people, 20 people, 100 people, and I've had up to 100 people in a classroom. I share that passion. And the challenging thing now is because of COVID, we still have restrictions. So I've had to adopt to the Zoom in terms of that technology. So we're working on some real good educational pieces. We're going to have some great state-of-the-art video training that's interactive so that our customers can really just get a clip, a YouTube clip, share it with their team, and they can probably learn our protocols in a matter of the time lapse of that video. And then the follow-up to that. We've got our internet really on fire right now. We're just doing all kinds of things. And in addition to that, we had always won awards with PureFiji, but we never capitalized. We never shared that information, maybe at the bottom, maybe hidden off to the right. So I'm like, hey, we've got an amazing product here. People love it. And we're winning awards. Why aren't we sharing that? So you'll see some more of that in some ongoing efforts. But in overall, you know, capsulation of the brand, we're going to have a lot of changes to come out during these COVID challenging times, and we're excited. I can't wait to share it. Some things I can't share right now, but soon will.
I mean, I love that your daughter is getting you into Snapchat and Instagram. I think it's an area that our industry really needs to build. You know, we know how to talk to a 65-year-old with a disposable income. We don't know how to talk to an 18-year-old, 20-year-old in an effective way to get them to buy our products, have our services, and we have to figure it out because that's the future.
Yeah,
that's where, and there's tremendous spending power in that generation that I don't think we as an industry have really tapped into in an effective way. I think part of it's because it's so decentralized that, you know, I mean, are you using YouTube influencers and things like that? And are you in those channels? I think we're all having to relearn how, and maybe it's a little less, you know, it's a little more decentralized, a little less sort of traditional, that we have to sort of embrace that. So I'm glad that your daughter is pushing you out of good old boring Facebook.
It's really interesting, no, Patrick. I have a 19-year-old son and a 26-year-old daughter. They're 6 years apart, but they're like a generation apart.
Yeah.
And so my son is into TikTok, but my daughter's like, nah, that's not me. And I'm like, well, where are you? Oh, it's Instagram. So I'm like, oh, on Facebook. So there's these generational tiers of the social media, and we're actually doing all of them, but we have to learn them. And I'm learning from my son just as much as I'm learning from my daughter. So
yeah, I think it's really important. I think it's really important that if we stay viable, that we learn how to exist in these different mediums and exist in them effectively. So it's an interesting conundrum for the industry that I think it's something that we're all going to continue to face as we move forward. Gary, I want to talk to you about philanthropy because I know that ReadyCare is very actively engaged in the world of philanthropy. Can you talk about some of the initiatives that you all are supporting and behind?
Well, we have a couple fun ones here in Denver. So we support two basically homeless shelters. And one homeless shelter, we basically do drives to get them clothes. We all donate clothes, and then we give them everything they need, from toothbrushes to little bottles of shampoo, anything that they need. It's just carte blanche. You just tell us what you need. We drive it down there. And then we have it's another shelter, but no one sleeps there. So it's for people that are on the street. They can come there and get food, and they can come there and take a shower. And we've been with them for, I think, 5 years now. They reached out to us. They wanted to buy products from us. We were like, no, absolutely not. You're doing a great service for our community. And they have 6 shower stalls. And so we took our hotel shower dispenser and we put it up in there. And I can't even remember how many, but they average over 60 showers a day. And we've been doing it for 5 years now. So it's a pretty phenomenal amount of showers that we're helping to provide. And we also do toothbrush, toothpaste, and all of that stuff for them too. And we took it kind of a step further this year because my oldest daughter works out in Los Angeles, and she's working with homeless shelters out there. And she's mainly a advisor on how to keep the spread of COVID going through homeless shelters. So she called me up and goes, Dad, can you help out? We have nothing to give these people. And so we've been sending her products for the shelters that she helps. And, you know, Los Angeles is not much fun right now. I get scared sometimes that she's working out there, but I'm really happy she got both of her vaccine shots. And so, you know, I feel a little bit safer. And then we've always done stuff whenever there's a hurricane, the hurricane in Haiti, or the disaster in Haiti, Katrina. We always just package up whatever we can get rid of here and send down a couple of pallets of product. It's the very least we can do. It's pretty simple. And then mostly, you know, we have so many customers that we get asked for a lot of donations every year, and it's hard to do 100% of them, but you know, we try to pick through, and you know, we try to do, you know, the top ones, and then just a lot of cash donations to them. So we try to help out as much as we can, and use our products where we can, and use cash where we can.
I think that's really, I think you highlight something very important, which is lots of times philanthropy is a big gesture in some people's minds. It's, you know, let's send someone to college or buy them a car to drive to work. And what you're talking about is you're going to the very basic fundamentals of self-care and hygiene, that they can brush their teeth and take a shower.
Which makes somebody feel really good.
Right.
When they can get all clean at the end of the day, and they're not always dirty. And Paul can talk about something that PureFiji did, because they just had a big cyclone just come through Fiji. What was that, about 6 weeks ago, Paul?
Yeah. Yeah. So PureFiji on that side of it, it's always been about humanity. It's always been about giving back to these communities, and it's really a poor third world country in Fiji. You wouldn't know that from pictures and postcards, but the people there, and this is why PureFiji is very successful and has a lot of great stories, is that it gives proceeds back to these communities. It uses it like a co-op. They take different villages or villagers who are part of making the product for PureFiji. Beehive farmers, sugarcane farmers, the nut harvest collectors, the list goes on and on. But after 2 cyclones, so they had one 5 years ago called Winston. It's a category 5. So you know what that's like when it comes into Florida. It's catastrophic. That one, the eye went over the main island in Suva, which is the capital in Fiji. So they were just recovering. So PureFiji donated everything, water, food. They actually were one of the first vehicles to get on the road after Winston to go deliver these. And their homes aren't made out of cinder block and bricks. They're made out of straw. They're made out of, they're shacks, and they were just completely demolished. So UNICEF came in and set up tents, but PureFiji was there to help deliver a lot of the stuff that most transportation couldn't get there. So they were really well known for that. And lo and behold, 6 weeks ago, yet another category 5 YASA, Y-A-S-A, came through. Fortunately, the storm went above Suva, the main island, but did catastrophically destroy just the island above it. And again, the same thing. PureFiji was out. They made sure they had with their team transportation, vehicles, water, supplies, whatever it took to go to these villages, because a category 5, its eye to the storm that they got was really a category 4, and which is catastrophic the same. A church was destroyed up in this Natovi village, and they actually put their personal funds into this church to help rebuild it. And part of the church was a school and a whole community, and the kids had nothing, and they helped to rebuild it. So just heartfelt humanity. And if you ever had an interview with Gaetan Austin, so she's the mother, Andre's the daughter, so it's a woman-owned company, which is a great thing, very passionate for the people. Their pride of the nation is really giving back to the communities. Gaetan will tell you it's humanity more than anything, and caring for the people, because and it hits you when you're there and you come back to the United States. It humbles you, Patrick. You don't realize how spoiled we really are until you come back to the States. And you see these people, these Fijian, like Gary explained, the people, they're so humble and they smile, yet they're living in very poor conditions. So it's pretty amazing about the giving back.
It really is about that human to human connection that you're talking about. It's so critical. I could go on for another hour with you both, Gary and Paul, but I want to thank you both so much for joining us today to share all that's happening at ReadyCare. And of course, thanks again to ReadyCare for their continued support of Pulse, and yourself, Paul, at PureFiji. For those of you who don't know, Pulse is back in print as of January and February. It's available on our app also, which is compatible with iOS and Androids, and also at experienceispa.com. To Gary and Paul, thank you so much again. We're so grateful for your support.
Thank you very much. Thanks for everything you've done for us for the past 30 years.
Yes.
We love ISPA.
We love ISPA. So thank you for watching. Thank you for spending your time with us. Stay well and have a wonderful day.
All right. Be safe. Thank you.